Is it?
Make sure you've always got your speakers on. Turn the speakers
Hello.
off. Let's,
We okay?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay.
We're live. We're live.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Okay, so this. You've got the gong.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Is that loud too? Is that loud?
That's loud. That's loud. Yes.
Good luck. A little Japanese. That's the wrong one back there. That doesn't sound so cool. The gong is better.
So this is all stuff from Kurt, basically, right?
This is all what?
Papa. This is all Softy Papa.
All Softy Papa loot. Yes,
Yep,
which people keep emailing me to get, but I just haven't had time to even entertain their pleas to send me stuff. It's funny, people are like, I'll do you a favor and you can send me some of this stuff. It's such a pain in the ass.
Fair deal.
It's really a pain in the ass to.
By the way, what we're talking about Softy Papa, like, was last week's show, was it or was it not like just about like the best 2.5 Oyajis ever?
You know, I don't want to
good.
insult Softy Papa, but I will. I didn't think he had it in him to do such a great show. Like he really far and beyond. You know, I mean, it was underhyped.
He blew me away.
He was great. He was great. I didn't know he had such great stories. And the other thing is, he has such a real. Everyone can see his sincerity as a human being. He's just. I think that overall that wins. You know, everyone can see I'm a phony. You know, I don't mean anything. I don't care about anything I say. I'm just here for the fame and the women.
Well, yes.
People know that. You too, right? You're here just for the
just for the groupies, pretty much.
Just for the free blow.
Pretty much. But you know, the thing with Kurt is that, you know, when I say this about people, I really do mean it as a compliment. You know, he's a bit of a weird guy, and that's, you know, but in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to come onto YouTube and watch a normal guy talk about, you know, the weather and normal stuff. You wanna, you know. But damn, you know, like, he caught me so off guard. The first story about going into Compton, made up as a black person, and
that was. That's like. If I didn't know him and he told me that story, I would just think, okay, you're an idiot, and I don't want to talk to you anymore because you're crazy.
That was so good. I mean, I'm not just saying this. I kind of feel guilty that our videos sometimes end up over an hour, and I have trouble telling people. After having made the video live, if you haven't been through it live, I have trouble telling people, you know, no, you should totally go on and watch us again just for an hour and take that time out of your life. But I seriously mean it. This time I think that is 1 hour, 20 minutes, whatever it was, of like 4 or 5 of the most out of left field amazing stories. I thought it was really awesome, and it was a great vibe. I don't know, I just came out of that whole show like with a big smile on my face. That was really good.
That was a great show. Yeah, I felt really good about it too.
Yeah.
It's a shame he's leaving, and I hope he'll talk to us once he gets back to California. But
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he goes going back, of course. But and that's another adventure, isn't it? You know, going back to you know, adapting to life back in the U.S. with his family, of course. But so you know what? This comment tracker thing is not updating. Yeah, because I can see the YouTube window as well, and it's not updating.
We're trying out new software tonight, guys, and it's not really working as it's supposed to.
Well, you know, this wouldn't be a 2.5 Oyajis without technical problems.
Right. Hey, you're right. It's not updating.
Yeah, this is what.
You know what? If you re-input the source, let me see.
I bet it will, but you don't want to keep doing that. I mean,
yeah, it's a pain in the ass. No, it didn't work. I did it. It didn't work. It only shows 20 comments, the first 20. So it doesn't work. Forget about that.
Well. Anyway, so within the Hangout window, there's a thing which can link to the YouTube comments. So I thought we could see the YouTube comments right in the window and say, you know, make it look awesome. But unfortunately, that's not working. So, that's cool. Anyway, I'll keep up. So instead, I'm going to be looking to the side a little bit for the comments.
But the quality is really good on my end. I think I'm much clearer than you. Is that right?
I think you're always clearer than me. I don't know why that is, even when I'm the one setting it up.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all.
It might be my accent. It could be the New Zealand accent. People tell me it's not clear. I was actually, so you know, actually, so I got I'm still trying to figure out, but there is actually going to be, I'm still getting the details, but on February 15, there's going to be a first anniversary party for the YouTube space. I think it's February 15. I got the date wrong on there when I responded, so we're still trying to figure out what's going on with that. But Yeah, Victor and I were contacted by the YouTube people about that and about possibly stay tuned to us, which we will send out information about that for people who are interested. But she sent me there's like a new channel of New Zealand YouTube partners.
Yeah,
and
there is.
I saw that there's a little 2-minute promo video for that, which I actually watched today. And it's kind of funny because New Zealanders are really like, in general, New Zealand's a very small country. Everybody knows everybody. It's not, and it's kind of funny. When you go see Australian YouTube or Ireland
You're like
YouTube,
Alabama, right? Everyone's
not exactly like
related,
Alabama.
related to each other.
That's Tasmania. That's Tasmania. We're slightly different. We like sheep.
Okay.
But
we like sheep. Okay.
But it's a bit like Japan. New Zealand is a bit like Japan. The idea of if you made a YouTube video and you uploaded it, onto YouTube, and someone at your school found out about it, you would just be dead.
Right.
You'd be dead meat. And because of that, just in New Zealand, you don't have these large YouTube communities, or at least that's always been the image. Like New Zealanders make videos, but even if you go and look at the most popular channels in New Zealand, they're all like people behind cameras shooting stuff. It's a lot like Japan. I mean, not like filming cats, but filming, but not in front of the camera, behind.
You mean how, like in Japan, people take photographs of people they don't know on the subway, like on escalators, or?
Well, not like that. Not like that. It's basically just kind of filming sheep, and instead of cats, it's sheep. But action videos or sports or whatever. But whatever it is, musicians maybe, but not YouTube personalities from New Zealand. That's just kind of, you can't get away. New Zealand's too small a place to get away with like trying to be Philip DeFranco. But what I noticed on this thing, there is this community of New Zealand partners, and they have like 20 of them all in a row, like doing little promos, and they're all these kind of, I guess it's the Generation Z or the Generation whatever. Maybe I don't understand the kids in my country anymore. They're all like chatty talking heads, which YouTube's never been like that in New Zealand. What really got me as well was I couldn't understand anything anyone was saying.
And you're from New Zealand?
Well, New Zealanders kind of talk really fast, and I must admit, like, when you're around it all the time, it's totally natural, but I'm so used to speaking at this is half speed for me, although I can't go back to normal speed anymore.
Really? This is half speed for you? You always seem very deliberate with your language.
Yeah, well, it's because no one would understand me properly if I talked the way I talked when I first came to Japan. If I talked with my regular New Zealand, talking to a New Zealander accent.
Can you show us a little bit of what that would be like? Just a little bit?
Well, this is the problem. I can't. And the thing is, because I've slowed down, I mean, this is a slowed down, this is me talking, and I can't go back now. I go back to New Zealand, and everyone is positive that I'm from South Africa. It's like, I can see that. Yeah, I get that a lot. So but it's kind of cool. So and this YouTube lady was saying, hey, you're a New Zealander, and New Zealand's just starting this partner community. So why don't you guys do like a collab with the New Zealand community for the YouTube Hanami, which on many levels doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it sounds kind of like a fun idea. So I was kind of intrigued by that.
I had a meeting with her on. We had a Google Plus meeting the other day, and I told her, I said, I don't know what you can do with this, but there's a good chance that Hikosaemon, Canada 3, some other people are going to put together a Hanami.
Yeah. And
in that case, I think it would be good if YouTube could somehow, coordinate with them. I said I'm going to try to go, but I can't guarantee that I could make it. But I'm going to definitely promote it. Like I do every year. I always promote it, even if I don't make it.
So you're having these secret meetings with these YouTube high-ups. So obviously they've told you the secret formula for like making maximum money, which you're keeping to yourself and you're not sharing with us, right?
Actually, we had a meeting about that, and it's pretty much everything that you know. They said, make sure your thumbnail is good, and make your thumbnail tell what's in the video, and don't let it be too distracting or too what's it called? Too deceptive, or people get angry.
Boobs. Just boobs.
Oh yeah, she said basically stuff like upload at the same time every week if you're doing like once a week, twice a week stuff. Upload the same day. Same time, find out what time your subscribers are most active by experimenting or asking them what time is good, and upload at that time.
Yeah. Don't
upload Friday nights because everyone's out getting laid or trying to get laid. She didn't say that, but I assume that's
they're Google. They know everything. Honestly, I'm pretty sure they've got statistics on that. They track that. They've got like motion detector devices.
If they say that, then I would think they probably actually know that.
I'm pretty sure that they know. I'm not gonna presume otherwise.
So yeah, things like that. But it was everything it's everything that I know, but I just needed someone to tell me again,
It's good to be reminded. Actually, and just a reminder for the budding YouTubers out there, the YouTube playbook, the creators playbook, they update it all the time, and it is kind of amazing. It's actually it is actually too much good information. It really is almost like a novel now to read. But where it used to be kind of like YouTube would always say kind of stuff that was a little bit too basic, like, oh, come on, remember to put a title on your video, and remember to
in the tags,
press the record button. And I was kind of okay, this is good. I don't need this, but all of a sudden, somewhere they've jumped from being 101 to like 501, and there's a lot of very, very, very good information actually in the current playbook.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah.
Just quick shout outs to the people who are with us. Good to see you guys. Emily Louise Maitland, Gino Z, Sean Goss here every week. Yobi, how's it going? Awesome Total 100. Stubuya, who I saw Stubuya, and last week I kept pronouncing the guy's name Stubuya because it looked like W, how people write W. He corrected me. It's actually as in stew in Shibuya, so I'm supposed to say
stew in Shibuya.
So I'm sorry, I kept saying Stubuya. But it is Stubuya. No, that name is unforgettable. That's actually the best way for me to remember that. So that's all good. We got haters. We got lots of people. We got actually Gino's was first, although I was careful. Oh, and from New Zealand. So there you go. I was just talking New Zealand stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I don't know. You've been following like the news and stuff this week?
I was so busy today. I was doing an interview for Ken Cannon over at Japanese through Anime. He's doing really well over there. And I did a 90-minute interview for his followers. Yeah, it's just a private one for his followers, but they're really nice people. I was surprised at how many of them actually follow the J-vlogging community. And someone mentioned you too. Yeah. In a good way. I don't remember what it was, but I was paying more attention to my compliments. But
well, that's
but yeah, I had a really busy day. And one guy just showed up to my school. Yeah. And he just knocked on the door, walked in during my class. I was at the classroom. So my manager knocks on the door. She says, "Were you expecting a guest today?"
I'm sorry, you mean as in the manager of the school, as
the manager of the school.
Your manager.
Yeah. The manager. Well, it's my school, so
you have so many managers.
So she knocks on the door and says, "Were you expecting someone?" I said, "No," and I thought like a package. And I go to look, and it's this guy I've never seen before, and I'm like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Hi, I'm one of your subscribers."
I found you. I know where you live.
And he said it was so difficult to find this school. I'm like,
that's the idea.
I said, "Oh my God, who is this guy?" But it turns out to be a really great guy. His name is James. That's all I'll just say his first name. But really nice guy. We went out, walked around a little bit in the freezing cold, and had a nice talk. But yeah, it's scary sometimes that people just come to the school and just start, without calling, or maybe he did email me, but I get so many. Anyway, I did find out about this Coca-Cola commercial, and I'm disgusted at America. I don't know if anyone does that. Should I link people to this? I can link people to this.
Well, someone sent me a blog today. Maybe just sending it to everyone with a gathering of all the Twitter comments not liking.
Yeah, exactly that
one. Super Bowl ad had foreign language. It wasn't in American. Including, was it Miss Kansas? I liked how Miss Kansas just said, "I'm sorry, but singing America in any language other than English is just wrong."
Yeah, they should be singing in. Oh my God, it says, "Oops, remove any web addresses and try again." I can't post it on your site. That's weird. Maybe you can. I can't.
The link. I don't message it to me. I've got it anyway, so I'll do it. I'll put it in the information for the video. Yeah.
But just anyone, you could look up. You can just look it up. It's called "Public Shaming, Tweets of Privilege, Speak English, Racist Revolt." As Coca-Cola racist advertisement. Put that in. You'll find.
I mean, anything. The tsunami, the women's soccer, I mean, there's a combination of 19-year-olds with cheap access to the internet, alcohol, and a third-generation iPhone, and that gives access pretty much to people who really, I'd rather give them a gun than a smartphone sometimes, and they tweet whatever they think, and of course there are 18-year-olds who think it'd just be hilarious to troll by saying the most outrageous thing possible about,
That's true too.
And I don't know. I mean, it's there almost for the purpose of allowing us to say, "Oh, outrage, racist people talking about Coca-Cola commercial, but I wonder how much of that is. I mean, I wonder if half those comments are just trolling me to make this reaction. You know what I mean? I mean, yes. What do you expect? It's the internet. It was so funny actually when I used to study hippie subjects like international environmental law and environmental political thought and so on, and I was basically just with a lot of hippies who.
How did you get a job with a worthless major?
I came to Japan. That's what I did.
You should have studied philosophy. That's the only thing worse.
Well, it's on the way. But you know, in my class had a lot of really excellent people who had massive gaps in their memories, pretty much for the entire 80s. And I remember one of my lecturers was talking about how they showed us one of these New Age videos talking about how, did you know there are 6 billion cells in a developed organism, and there are 6 billion, it was going on. Well, it was building up to this philosophy, to this idea and this was like a 60s, one of those 60s future laser crystal type things, a New Age thing, talking about when the human population reaches 6 billion people, organisms, evolution takes a huge sort of a developmental leap in consciousness at the number 6 billion.
What?
And, yeah, no, seriously. This was played to me in an university. So this is at my law school with the.
Okay.
And you know what? And we're not. Well, you're a little bit ahead of me, but I was on the tail end of kind of the conservative youth generation, the kind of the backlash against my generation is actually quite a lot more conservative than the people about 10 years ago.
You realize that Duran Duran was bad music.
Well, exactly. We're starting to get the hints around that point. So the point is,
we thought they were the Beatles incarnate. So
yeah. So I'm in a class at university in New Zealand, basically with a class of like 50 people doing environmental law, but all perfectly comfortable with the idea that we're all going to become corporate lawyers. With basically a burned out hippie lecturer who's showing us this New Age video, telling us, but basically predicting in the 70s how humanity was going to somehow develop telepathic skills, and the age of Aquarius would come in, and we'd all just somehow have this shared consciousness at 6 billion.
Right.
And my lecturer was like, you should listen to this. This is amazing because this is predicting the internet and what's going to happen with the internet. And we all
when was that made?
Well, it was made in like the 70s, and it wasn't predicting the internet. It was just saying that humanity would somehow come to a higher level of consciousness, of shared consciousness and advancement. And my very optimistic, slightly dope, burned out, former hippie lecturer was saying, look, the New Age philosophy, the age of Aquarius is being brought by the internet, which is going to make everybody more intelligent and sympathetic to one another, and share consciousness. This is the internet. And we all put our head down. This is the problem. The problem is that the internet came around the same, because of people like my generation. We all put up our hands and said, I think all that this proves is that there was way, way too much cheap drugs around the time this video was made. And this is the thing, all these people who used to hold out such idealism for how the internet was going to elevate humanity, when it's kind of doing the opposite. If you're looking at the comments on the Super Bowl Twitter.
Well, it's really interesting. If you think about that, if we all shared our consciousness, all the smart people would be brought down.
Well, that's pretty much how it works.
People would be brought up a little bit, but wouldn't you rather everyone just get brought up instead of nobody get brought down? I don't want to be grouped with those Coca-Cola Twitter.
But we are. The fact that we're talking about it, and see, this is the thing. That it's on the agenda because we saw a blog with outrageous comments that I'm not going to be buying any Coca-Cola anymore because their ad didn't speak American. Oh, the outrage, racist people. But I'm getting trolled. That's dictating the agenda.
That's interesting.
So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of depressing that yes, we are forming. Maybe it's 6 billion cells or organisms. We start going down. Maybe it's not an upward trend. I don't know.
Maybe it's like when you have too many of what are those rodents called that jump off cliffs? What are they called?
Lemmings.
Lemmings. Yes.
Lemmings.
I think that's what happened. That would be my summation. If someone asked me what does this mean, I would say it means we're going to start committing suicide.
Head straight for the cliffs. That's what we do.
I wouldn't think it would be anything good, but
hey, we may be going to hell, but we're going to go partying and having a good time. So why not? And
we're going to be self-righteous about it too.
Self-righteous all the way off the cliff. By the way, Adil Khan, nice of you to finally catch us live. Whenever I see a name like Khan, I always think of Shaka Khan.
I think of Khan really?
Khan.
I think of Star Trek.
You think of Star Trek.
Khan! Come on, how can you?
I'm obviously the person with the soul in this combination.
Shaka Khan?
Shaka
No,
Khan.
are you saying that Star Trek Trekkies don't have souls? Oh, buddy, you have just brought the wrath of all the cool people in the world upon you.
The wrath of Khan. The wrath of Shaka Khan. I'll take the wrath of Shaka Khan any day.
What do you? Hey, by the way, what do you? We're having kind of a this is a timeout thing, but we're not having. There's nothing really good on TV right now. I'm waiting for Walking Dead to start up again.
Yeah.
Nothing's really following has started up again, which is a pretty good show actually. But what are you watching on TV these days? Anything interesting?
Well, you know, I have been,
Mad Men's not on.
An update. I've been giving little updates on this as I go along. I have been reading Jake Edelstein's book.
Okay.
And I'm going to have a vicious write-up about it when I'm nearly done. It's interesting. I've kind of started to realize. I realized this with Bayer's book, and I'm realizing this with Jake's book now. That it could be possible. I'm not quite sure of this, and I need to confirm this, but it's possible that I could be a little bit of an asshole, because I've definitely prejudged some people pretty harshly, and I'm reading, and I'm kind of there's nothing better than being surprised or reevaluating someone in a positive way.
Oh yeah, well, like we did with Canada in 3. I mean, it wasn't
Canada in 3.
It wasn't so bad with her actually. We didn't think she was.
That
terrible.
was a fun show as well, and she was a good sport, which was good.
She's great.
With Jake, I came straight into my first experience of Jake, which I will go into when I do my write up on the book and when we get him on. But my first experience of Jake was after he sold and released his book and was doing the kind of the heavy promotion on the book, which unfortunately was also around the time of the tsunami disaster.
No.
And so he kind of caught my attention in a way that didn't rub me the right way.
Right.
But a lot of people from YouTube and Facebook have been recommending to me for a long time, read the book and tell me what you think. And a lot of more than a dozen people have asked me to read his book, and I've kind of I'll get to it. But I'm actually reading it, and it's actually it's quite good. And I never gave the guy enough credit for a long time. So I'm really enjoying the book, and I'll tell you, I'm 3/4 of the way through. Actually, I'm up to the 80% mark on my Kindle, and it is highly recommendable. But I'm going to get all the way there, and I'm going to write a review, and then we're going to hound the guy until he gets.
He was on the Jon Stewart show, the Daily Show alone gives him major cred in my eyes.
Well, I mean, it does, but you've seen him be on the show, right? You saw the clip.
What do you mean?
Yes, he was on the Daily Show, but did you see him on the Daily Show? Did you see?
Oh, I see what you mean.
He was a little bit of a, he was a little bit of a.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But on the show, and again, it was kind of.
He reminded me of New York Mafia, actually, a little bit.
Well, I think it's kind of part of the persona he's also putting on. But this is the thing with him is that so, on the one hand, he sounds like one of these, I spent 3 weeks in Japan, read my book where I tell you everything about the Yakuza. And at the same time, so I'm skeptical. Then at the same time, I hear that he worked at the Asahi as a regular, not the Asahi, at the Yomiuri, the opposite of the Asahi. He worked at the Yomiuri Shimbun.
Yeah, that's true.
As a regular reporter, as a beat reporter for years. And I'm like, well, that's really, really unusual. And that I actually respected more than anything else that I heard about the guy. And that kind of made him much more credible. But at the same time, then I think, okay, so let's see this guy. Let's see if he shows the signs of being a kind of a matured, developed, long-term Japan resident. But he acts and behaves, and he promotes like one of these shamsters who comes through and kind of writes these dodgy books and goes away. I was going back and forth, and then I heard he's on the Daily Show, and again, massive cred for that. And then I saw the Daily Show thing with him on it, and the things he was saying, I was like, what the hell? I could never quite get him straight. Now that I'm reading the book, which I should have done all along, I'm actually putting things together a little bit better. And yes, absolutely confirmed. As I would have been confirmed before reading the book, he's a super interesting guy. But because of that, most of my free time has been taken.
And he's a wizard too.
He's a Swedish masseuse, and he introduces that in like the very first page of the book. He's actually before he was a reporter or anything else, he was actually apparently a professional Swedish masseuse for rich Japanese ladies.
So he gives a good back rub.
I think that's the point he's trying to get across, not very subtly, all through the book. I mean, again, it's kind of fun to read like that, but please, dude, I don't need to know that, but it's kind of funny. So, it's a good read. I'm almost done with that, and I'm gonna basically hunt him down and force him to come on the show.
You think he'll come on? We're not Jon Stewart. I mean, I'm kind of good looking, but we're still not Jon Stewart.
I'm a bit of a George Costanza, I think. I try to go for that. Would you go on the George Costanza show if there was? I think he would.
I would want to meet George Costanza actually.
I would love to meet. Who wouldn't want to meet George Costanza? That's myself.
Before we run out of time.
Yes. Oh, that's right. You're gonna get off at 11. Oh, okay. So yes.
I got a question for you though. Yes. I haven't been keeping up with the news very much. There's a couple things that we want to mention real quick. Hashimoto in Osaka.
Hashimoto. Oh,
this is amazingly stupid. And please correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I understand. He has decided. Okay, he wants to merge the municipal and prefectural governments into one government to apparently eliminate bureaucracy and red tape.
He wants to copy Tokyo. He wants Osaka to be laid out administratively the same as Tokyo. You know, he wants to
compete with Tokyo. Yes, basically.
Yeah,
he wants to be LA and.
He wants to be number 2. He wants to be.
They're already number 2. So the municipal and prefectural government representative said no. So he in a hissy fit, he's decided to resign as the mayor.
Screw you guys.
Call a new mayoral election.
Yeah.
And his hope is that he will be voted mayor again.
Yeah.
because no one is running against him.
He's already mayor, and he doesn't actually have to quit. He's got the job for the next 2 years anyway.
Yes, until December 2015.
I'm going to call an election. I'm going to resign, and then I'm going to call an election that's going to cost millions of dollars. Where I'm going to ask.
Well, actually, only $500,000, but still.
No, $6 million. $6 million.
Oh, really? I read it. I thought it was $500,000. I couldn't believe really $6 million. That makes more sense actually. I thought it was kind of cheap.
And for those who don't know, so it's kind of funny, and this is how the media is kind of trolling him. Like, you can't take sides theoretically in the media and say that, but you can. It's kind of funny how the media kind of subtly digs at these people sometimes. Mm-hmm. And Hashimoto isn't popular with a lot of the mainstream media because he's
they don't like him.
They don't like him, but they don't come out with it. But what they say is, one, they point out, two, all the other parties have figured out right away. Well, if we want to make him look really bad, all we have to do is not contest the election. And at the moment, it looks like no one else is going to contest the election, and it's going to cost all this money. And then they said it looks like no one else. So NHK was saying it looks like no one else is going to contest. And by the way, the election will cost $6 million. That's what it cost last time, and the time before that it cost $5 million. And last time it cost $6 million. So this is what it's going to cost. And they go and ask people in the street, "Are you happy spending $6 million so that this guy can do an election where it looks like he's going to be the only one running?" That's not necessary. And of course, in Osaka, for those who don't know, Osakans are like the Dutch or like the Scottish, or they're
like New Yorkers.
They've got the reputation of being you're wasting my money. Don't waste my money. If there's the worst thing you can do to an Osakan person is rip them off.
Okay.
They're always there, hagglers. You always got to give them you got to add 10% on the price just so you can take it off to make them feel like they got a discount from you. So, the idea that this guy's kind of, he looks terrible doing this. But
I actually didn't know that about the Dutch, but thank you.
Dutch have the same reputation, yeah. So it's kind of funny like that. But
so I got that story right? That's really what's happening. You got
that story perfectly right. And not only that, but again, playing into the "we're number 2" and "can I be your sidekick" thing, which he's been doing all along with like when Ishihara was governor. He's saying if there's a big earthquake and Tokyo's wiped out, can we be the number 2 city? He had some sort of deal with Ishihara on that. And again, just when Tokyo's having its governor, it's prefectural, the equivalent of its like state election.
Right.
In the middle of that, he calls a snap election in Osaka. I mean, it's like, please stop looking at Tokyo. Look at us too. And what is that? My camera.
No, you're fine.
Oh, I'm back. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, so that's one story that caught my attention. There's one that you mentioned earlier that I had no idea, and it's something about NHK.
So there is, yes. The other story is, so there's actually NHK, the board of NHK has a bunch of appointees. They're all appointed by the governor. But the idea of the NHK is like the BBC. It's a government-funded, government media thing. But at the same time, it's not it's not controlled. It's got to be editorially. It's got to be independent. So the idea is it's a government-funded but independent kind of public broadcast. It's like PBS or BBC or whatever in Japan, right? Everyone kind of knows that. But Abe's made a lot of appointments, as you're entitled to do when you're the government. But he's put a lot of people with very kind of conservative backgrounds in positions in charge of everywhere, but including NHK. Okay. So what's interesting is that there are 2 people currently on the NHK board, and there's another guy who's just been appointed the next NHK chairman. And in the last week, there's been like 3 different NHK board members who have made kind of some gaffes. I mean, so Mommy, this guy Mommy, who's this new guy who's coming in at his first press conference. His name is Mommy, which is kind of hilarious.
Funny, yeah.
I want my mommy. You know, I mean, that could be like the new slogan for NHK.
Right.
On his first press conference, he basically, he denied. He started talking about, you know, he did what Hashimoto did. He started talking about comfort women, and saying, "Hey, I thought everybody had comfort women. Oh, wasn't that like the normal thing?" And of course, that again, you know what he's talking about. You know, he's talking about like you know, military brothels. That's what he's thinking. But the problem is, of course, that immediately got broadcast by everybody as this guy, you know, NHK chairman thinks sex slaves are okay.
Right.
And so, you know, that was like at his very first press conference, you know, so that didn't go very well. And then just the other day, there was actually one of the right-wing candidate in the Tokyo election, the current chairman, sitting in as chairman of NHK, got on top of a bus and said that, you know, we need to change Japanese history education so that kids know that, you know, the Nanking Massacre was a lie.
Oh, God.
And that's not good. that's not a place you want to go.
Yeah.
And that was followed up today with another female member of the NHK board, another Abe appointee.
Really?
Who praised another guy, like a famous like right-wing activist who in 1993 marched into the left-wing Asahi Shimbun weekly offices with 2 guns and a knife and ritually committed suicide in protest at the left-wing newspaper. And she said he was like such a good guy.
God.
So I don't know, honestly, it's getting to a point, actually, Durfee, one of the people I like to follow on Twitter, was saying, at this point, it looks like NHK is actually just trolling us. This can't be real, almost. It's too much.
I'm going to have to catch up on that story. I don't know about that one.
Oh, yeah, well, it's unfolding as we speak, but yes, it's just kind of silliness.
I want to thank you for posting the Twitter. Your Twitter feed is really good. If you guys don't follow Hikosaemon on Twitter, he posts a lot, so you won't be able to keep up with everything. But yeah. I did make a video about something. I should have credited you. I didn't though. I made a video about Totori.
10%.
About the Totori. You know, they cured cancer.
Yes. Right? Well, apparently that's why I haven't seen anything else about it, but it sounds.
No, that's what I mentioned in the video. I'm like, why don't we know more about this? It should be everywhere. It should be all over the news, but it's not. And so mainstream media. It's not. It's one article in Japanese media as well.
And it could have been overhyped, but that was super interesting, wasn't it? They actually managed to find a consistent way of treating cancer in mammals, you know, like in mice, but all different types of cancer, like easily without.
It works on everything apparently.
I mean.
And I talked to a doctor. I have a doctor who deals with breast cancer every day, and I asked him about it, and he said, well, you know, of course I don't know for sure, but there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with what this article says. It seems completely plausible that it's true. Yeah. So hopefully something will happen.
He didn't say, "You're trolling me. You're trolling me."
Hey, but listen, I gotta run.
You gotta go. I'm gonna hang around. Hang around.
Yeah. Thanks for everyone. Please come to my channel next week, 10:30, and thumb up this video, guys. Only 7 thumbs. Come on. There's like 60 people here. 64 people watching. Only 7 thumbs. You guys suck. Only 2 thumbs up this video, and I know you don't suck. So sum it up. And thanks a lot. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a fun time tonight. I gotta get to my class. I gotta go internet class tonight because it's a new month.
You're teaching the internet. Teach them not to be trolls. Do that.
I will. I'll talk about that. Good night, guys. Bye.
Well, I guess I don't need this anymore. His speakers were turned off. That was awesome. So I'm going to go into comments. What am I doing? So now I'm going to do the comments thing. It's just you and me. Now we're alone. I thought he'd never leave.
Hello? Can you hear me?
It does. Oh, you're still there.
Oh, I'm trying to get out. How do I get out? Okay, I'll just close the window. See you guys.
So anyway, let's get into the comments. I'm going to be looking sideways because the comments here don't update soon enough. But put your comments in now. I'm going to tell a quick story before I get into it. So I heard from a person who heard from a person. As you're aware, I mentioned on my show on Sunday, you know, that they're no question, you know, Victor's the go and punch them in the face, and I'm the you know, go and put the kettle on and think it over kind of a guy. I mean, I'm a worse by reputation and by modus operandi. It doesn't mean I'm, you know. I loved how that troll blog that was published on the Japan Times called me a soft apologist. But you know, as some people are aware, I think it was on Sunday. I had a slight. Well, it wasn't even a confrontation. You know, it was like a fight with a spouse. You know, they were shouting and being kind of crazy at me, and I was agreeing and saying sorry. You know, I was just, you know, sure, okay, whatever you say. Which in a way, actually, sometimes the best way to disarm someone when they're really trolling or coming at you is to just treat them, well, basically like they're nothing. You know, I mean that you don't have to come and, you know, so they're looking for the fight sometimes. Kind of stepping to the side and say, sure, whatever you say, can actually be an effective way of dealing with people like that. And I'm a little bit, be like water, you know. I don't do Aikido, but I imagine, you know, Steven Seagal, like that. You know, I just try to take that approach to things and not get too crazy about it. But as some people noticed, it was like sometimes people will come out and be kind of outrageous, and I talked about people. I think a communication was kind of relayed indirectly to me of someone saying, you know, sometimes I'm trying too hard to be too balanced and fair to people, and, you know, sometimes you got to show some backbone and show some principle. That's a fair statement. It's a fair statement. I mean, and the whole thing with Victor is that he does that. He's straight up, you know, that's whatever, man. And I've become more like him, I think, over the course of doing this video, because I've always been very cautious about how I use the internet. And one thing, of course, is it's not worth getting, you know, crazy people coming after you, you know, over an internet debate, frankly. You know, in any case, I think you can still be balanced and even and still drop your opinion. You know, you can say, well, look, you know, the person, case in point, Hitler. You know, Hitler was an artist. Apparently was reasonably good at painting. He killed 15 million people and was a genocidal maniac, but animals liked him, and the videos showed that he was good with children. Now, to some people, that's an unacceptably balanced view of Hitler, but I did properly put in there the important piece of information that he was a genocidal, bad person. That's kind of the approach I take with some of these people sometimes. I put in the information that might give away my view, and this is the thing, I'll give a very balanced view of someone, which a lot of other people will hear and come to the conclusion themselves that oh, this person is outrageous, you know, you should have been more direct. But the point is, I'm giving you the information to make that judgment. And so I'm doing that knowingly sometimes as well, you know, but you don't, at the same time, I mean, I don't think to be credible, or if you're hoping to get the person to kind of see themselves objectively, I think you've got to, like, sometimes punching them in the face isn't the best way. You've got to come and acknowledge what they're bringing and highlight at the same time maybe what they're missing or not realizing. And that's my approach. But so anyway, it's kind of funny. So, you know, yes, I'm a wuss and a pussy, but that doesn't mean I don't get stuff done. And it doesn't mean that I get the same stuff with kind of work or whatever. And, you know, I'm a little bit of a diplomat, sure, but, you know, it doesn't mean that that's not a way of getting things done. Sometimes I've got my own modus, and, you know, and the point is, when you come at someone the wrong way, you know, straight into a fight, you open the opportunity for them to change the debate into the way that you attack them unfairly. So the point is, you got to kind of disarm them a little bit before you can really, you know, have a meaningful debate. And as I've blogged about recently, you know, how you debate is something I really care about, and that's why the topic tonight, racist morons and elections. Yeah, you know, I mean, the internet is not, you know, are full of morons, and what I'm constantly trying to do myself, what I aspire to do, is to raise the debate to the extent that I can. I mean, I don't talk to you guys like idiots. I'm not spelling stuff out. If you don't get something that I'm talking about, I'll try to explain it to you, because I like explaining sometimes, but my point is, I'm also trying to challenge you guys to, you know, read and learn, and, you know, if you find stuff that I talk about interesting, go and learn more about it yourself. I mean, that's the idea. I think there's too much media nowadays. Again, the Coca-Cola commercial being just the thing. I mean, you know, artsy commercial, bottom of the barrel, you know, MTV reality TV series, you know, trolling tweets, and then that becomes like the biggest discussion on the internet. You know, there are much more important topics than this, and why do we always have to be going straight to the least brain-intensive subjects and getting the most worked up about them? So, you know, I like to try to bring people onto topics that I think are interesting and to make people think for themselves. You know, and that doesn't mean that I don't have an opinion or that I'm I'm handing credibility to these people. But you know, that's what I do. So that's the way that's how I operate. And you know, and the point is, when you challenge people like that, when you try to do your best in your own small way to raise the tone of the debate, you get really fantastic discussions as a result. And that, in the end of the day, this is the thing as well. As people know, I went to law school. I argue. I do a lot of cross-cultural stuff, both on these videos and in my life and my job. And I think one way that I do that effectively is you kind of have to see it as sport to some extent. You know, sometimes I respect people who get very passionate about the debates that they're in. I think to really debate well, you've got to kind of find where the passion is and get it yourself. But at the same time, to really be effective, you've got to kind of be able to switch sides and advocate for different sides at any time, or at least to understand where the other guy's going to come at you. You've got to look at it strategically. You know, you got to think it's a boxing fight. You don't just go out throwing right hooks over and over. You got to think, how's the guy going to come at you, and what's the best way to respond to that, and where am I going to get my hits in, and come out both ways. And that, you know, and it's not fun watching a fight between a guy who's thinking things out and a guy who's not. You want to see two people who have good strategies and try to, you know, you want to see a debate of people who are on both sides are thinking things through. It's a more fun debate that way. And that's what, through, you know, these small things, through these videos that I'm doing with Victor and whatnot, that's what I'm aspiring to. I'm aspiring to help you guys all get a little bit smarter, so that, you know, you can come and have a great disagreement with me. I don't want everyone to agree with me. I mean, I put my views out there, but the point is, I don't care. I'm not going to get offended if you disagree with me. I enjoy the debate, and half the time I'll take a position contrary to you just for the fun of it anyway. And that's just my horrible personality. I'm heartless, as Yuri Kagewa told me when I was being too critical at once, which honestly, it's true. It's true. You know, I am able to not feel sometimes. It lets me enjoy. I get a kick out of the debates more than the subject sometimes, which is a sign of a terrible personality. But you know, but I'm self-aware enough to try to at least be nice about it. Well, that's a philosophical thing. But yes, I got called out by my good friend. I shouldn't actually say where it came from, because I want to give the privacy on the comment. I respect the comment. I do, and I agree with it. It's just not, well, see, here's me being a pussy again. I agree with you, but I'm going to do it. But this is how I am. So screw you, man. Screw you. That's me being opinionated. See, I can do that. I can do that. So anyway, just some funness. I haven't updated Hikosaemon this week, but I am going to do that soon. There's been interesting news. I mean, again, I did the, as you all know, I do the Sunday Tokyo Tonight, where I went through a lot of news on that. The NHK stuff, like I was talking about, the governors there. I don't know. It's kind of like, for all these people who want Japan to normalize, now Japan has a normal public broadcaster, just like Korea and China, where you have extreme nationalists just saying crazy stuff all the time. That's what Japan kind of seems to get singled out as, oh, Japan's being the crazy one. But no, Japan is just slowly becoming more like their very unpleasant neighbors, which, you know, I think I've always kind of said, well, the nice thing about Japan is that the fact that, you know, Japan doesn't even have a military, and people even talk about Article 9 and they're saying militarism when all the other countries around it are having wars and they have conscription and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice that Japan's being criticized for militarism when it's so far away from it. It's kind of a sign that Japan is so removed and the standards here are so different. And that's what I think is always awesome about Japan. The standards here, I think, are, you know, set on a completely different bar and a different level and expectation, and that's kind of a good thing. I mean, it's a compliment to Japan that you expect there to be democratic and open debate here, and you expect there to be, you know, I guess the biggest concern of what I've been seeing in recent things about, you know, wanting to dictate what goes into textbooks about, you know, is actually, I mean, you know, this controversy that they want to put into the textbooks that, you know, Takeshima and Senkaku Islands and the Northeast Territories are all Japanese territory, and that this is causing such outrage and angst in Korea. It's causing outrage and angst that Japan is doing for the first time, when it's proposing doing for the first time what South Korea has always done. Exactly the same thing, and they're acting all outraged about it. And for me, I mean, so in a way, what I kind of like being able to say is that, look, you know, see, Korea is there actually having the government dictate national policy, goes into textbooks, that's making everyone crazy about this. And in Japan, you know, you're free to disagree or agree with it or to research it yourself, but now they're starting to do the same thing as Korea, and Koreans are getting really upset by it, and same with China. I don't know. I always like to think somehow Japan's always been able to keep a little bit above the fray on that, but there again, hey, popular government, they got voted, they can do what they like. There was the kind of the funny troll of the week the other day. I'm just looking at Hikosaemon, link the logo, and I told you all about this stuff, right? You know about this. This is where I put all the cool news that you should be reading. North Korea released a statement calling Abe the Asian Hitler, and I know a lot of people put a lot of comments out saying, if that isn't the pot, calling the kettle black. But I pointed out to these people, actually, well, you know, remember this is from North Korea, so it's not clear that that was a criticism. Hey, look, there's a guy, he's just like us. But, you know, when people are saying, you know, obviously no one taught North Korea the rule that the first guy to call the other guy Hitler loses a debate. But the fact that people are even, you know, making these comparisons is just, you know, when it's so far detached. Nah. Who knows? Canada Jean 3, by the way, made some great comments. I'm sorry I missed the comments on Tokyo Tonight, but she actually, it was kind of funny reading back over the context that she gave with some of the other comments on that video, and she was spot on, by the way. And her, just to say it again, her white Japanese, and I actually know some white Japanese people. I got a friend, we had a guy on the show, Edo Inoue, great white Japanese voter in the Tokyo election. Which, by the way, Tokyo election, I'll point it out as well. What annoys me as a Tokyo resident is, you know, you have these people coming in, you know, they want stronger defense policy, you know, through Tokyo. They want Tokyo as their platform for their national election things, whatever, you know, stronger military or better hospitals or, you know, no nukes or whatever. And that's all well and good, but honestly, I live here and I pay taxes. I just want my toilet to flush. I want, you know, I want the pothole on my street outside fixed. I want, you know, I want my kid to be able to go to a good school. I don't like these people that come in from outside of Tokyo who aren't from Tokyo. And I've lived here 15 years. I've lived in Tokyo longer than I've lived anywhere else in my life. I'm more Tokyo person than anything else. And yeah, you know, and they're coming in and they're trying to use Tokyo as their agenda platform because, no, you know, if you're going to come and campaign for Tokyo governor, sure, I can't vote, but please campaign for Tokyo stuff. That's why I was just commenting, you know, that the only two candidates in the Tokyo election who are actually from Tokyo are Hosokawa, who's just who seems to think he's running for prime minister again, and remembering that he actually had to resign as prime minister for taking a bribe twice as big as the bribe that Inose took that he had to resign over that triggered this election in the first place. So there's Hosokawa and there's Dr. Nakamatsu, and for me, Dr. Nakamatsu, he's like the only guy. I'm going to comment on. I'm going to go through and say hello to each and every one of you and respond to comments and questions. So put your stuff in now because I'm going to catch up very soon. So here we go. Jinos, hello from New Zealand. G'day. Sweet. Yes, I'm not South African. No, seriously, I'm not South African. I'm not. Everyone thinks that just because I speak a little bit slower now that they think that I must be South African, but I'm not. You know, okay, I'm from New Zealand. No one believes I'm from New Zealand, but thank you for watching. And yes, Kiwis. As a 3, hello, Zen Sega. I don't know. I'm sorry that your comment is flagged as spam, and the comment things are broken, and I always try to unspam everybody, but it won't. You know, YouTube is broken, and I'm sorry about that. Brian Uchida, nice of you to join. Good to have you here. I'm glad. It's great every week to see these people who finally catch it live, so good to see you. Stubuya, Sean Goss, regular, it's good to see you. Donnie White, aloha, or kia ora, as we say in the Polynesian, in my part of Polynesia. Emily Louise Maitland, good to see you again, as we do often. Good evening. Sean Sally, nice glasses. Yes, we're the glasses guys. These are actually protective. They like stop sparks from the, you know, from the trolls on the internet from coming through. Stabuya, yes, that's right. Nice. It's always a nice time for a stream. That's what I say. Igainchi. Awesome Turtle. Hey haters, King of the Morons. We got Tikyo Sam saying something. Smoke. Of course, he's from. Yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone's asking him now. As soon as they hear he's from Colorado, they're like, dude, why are you from Colorado and in Japan right now? But who knows? Who knows? He's going to get a lot of attention from immigration probably when he comes in now and they find out he's from Colorado. Okay, actually, called the live stream. Good on you. Saint Sunday. What? Stupid Japanese people call Japanese patriots racist, and I want to kill them all. Awesome Turtle, I remember who you are now. That's right. Yeah, well, that's an interesting statement. Go to town. Go to town. Call people on. Yes, in fact, actually, just a note, if there are any more comments on this about killing or violence, you're out and you're blocked. Warned. I know right-wingers don't like being called racist, and that's fine, so long as you're not being racist. You're allowed to be patriotic. I'm patriotic for Japan, although that seems to really befuddle some people, but not many. Honestly, the most race-oriented people I've actually run into in Japan have actually been Korean people, because, you know, they actually teach racial pride in Korea, and they really don't in Japan, but there's a small group of Japanese people I've run into and had some very unpleasant encounters with on the internet. But honestly, half of them are just trolls. They are, and they're not real people, if you ask me. Stubuya apparently got into an argument with a New Zealand co-worker about something, which I was talking about a while ago, while in Australia. I always used to get into arguments with people in Australia, usually about sports teams and where commercials were made and where Pavlov was invented, but that's all good. Django 1989 made them time. I wonder if you are the Django guy who was messaging me on Twitter that's going to be starting a Japan show soon. You could be someone totally different, and that was a Django, which was an awesome movie, by the way, just totally random, but that Django was an awesome movie. But good to see you, Django 1989. Emily's Maitland, yes, you speak half speed now too. I can't function in New Zealand anymore. No one believes I'm a New Zealander. Oh, so funny. I'll put the link after this video for this New Zealand Partners channel, because it was, I don't know, I kind of described it to the YouTube lady today as being like, it's like being from Yamagata Prefecture and living in Tokyo for 15 years, and then all of a sudden seeing a video of all these creators in Yamagata who like make videos in Yamagata Ben, and it's really disconcerting, even though that's where you're from. You know, I'm not used to hearing my actual accent, my original accent very often now, so it's kind of funny to hear. It's cool. I mean, it's a good thing, but it's kind of disconcerting. I'm glad that Awesome Turtle's back to being nice. I'm seeing now. Well, there's a lot of comments. I'm going to speed this up. Yes, Nelson. The highest sunshine hours of anywhere in New Zealand is Nelson, and they have excellent wine and mussels there. And I have, yes, spent time there. Nelson's an awesome place. Gino's, if you go to New Zealand, go to where Gino's is and stay at his house. He'll probably let you. I'm inviting everybody to go and stay at his house. Donnie White in Scotland. Oh, legalized gay marriage yesterday. That's interesting. That is interesting, because the Presbyterians, you know, the Anglican Church, you wonder if they would just like not do it just to spite the Anglicans. You know, the Presbyterians have been a little bit hardcore on that, although credit to all the churches in the UK, that I think they've been a little bit more open-minded than some other parts of the world. That's awesome. So Scotland's like, congratulations, of course, on Scottish independence and gay marriage. There you go, power. You know, I mean, well, that's a whole separate topic, but I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. You know, concerning adults that are married. What's your problem? I've got gay friends who are married, and you know, that's awesome. What else we got? We got Turtles, Jedis, Adil Khan. Oh my God, finally you made it. Yes, we're very glad to have you, Adil Khan. Khan. See, we even talked about your name for a while there. Theodorus Antonio, Season 2. This is the thing that Victor was talking about earlier. Yes. Going down to Dilkan, congrats, Canada A. Yeah, we say, by the way, Canada and New Zealand, we share in common. I think it's with Scotland that we put A on the end of our sentences a lot. New Zealanders like do it as a habit. I used to say every sentence with A, and you know, I've kind of managed to get out of that habit, but there you go. Chilling Kansai, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Actually, long time as well. We should do something together. We should get you on here sometime, because you're an interesting guy. Everyone, go and follow, go and subscribe to Chilling Kansai, because he makes good videos. Jake, EOB in Japan. We're talking about Jake Adelstein, who's the author of Tokyo Vice, which I'm reading on Kindle right now, and it's pretty good. He is an ex-Yomiuri journalist, and he's now a freelance journalist in Japan. He's a bit of a character, I guess you'd say. I wasn't sure what to make of him for a long time, but I'm reading his book, and I've decided he's pretty cool. I give him my seal of approval. Although, like I say, he was kind of, I was the disapproving father for a while there, but he's brought me around. G. Garad, glad you found it. I don't know what you're looking for, but I'm glad you found it, whatever it was. Bye bye Victor, bye bye Victor, bye bye Victor. Animals aren't that fussy, that's true. And now we're down to the current comments. Canada Gene 3 just got here. Okay, so you just missed Victor, so now you know that now it gets interesting. I would actually get you on as well, but I actually have to get off in a minute. Don't know how we are for time as well, by the way, but by the way, we were just talking before about one, how your show was awesome. Two, I did not appreciate at the time during the Tokyo Tonight thing the comments that you were making. I thought you were making very awesome comments on the Tokyo Tonight show the other night. And indeed, I don't know if you saw, but there was a slight confrontation. Well, I was trying very hard not to engage, but I got kind of attacked by the person we were talking about on Sunday, so that was kind of fun. There was actually some silliness, but not worth it. Yeah, I mean, not worth it on many different levels, but it was kind of fun. But I did appreciate your input on that video, and I'm sorry I didn't pick it up at the time, so power to you. I thought you did awesome. Canada Gene 3. And Stabuya, who wants a robot toilet to do the accounting, and who doesn't, really? I mean, if you have a robot toilet, I really ask what else do you need? So I'm going to refresh the comments and see if there's any questions, topics, and see I refresh, and there's a ton of stuff now, which is good. So okay, here we go. Here are your comments now. So Brian Uchida wants a robot. We all want robots, you know, but we'll have to keep going. Wah 40, just falling asleep before it begins and waking up halfway through. Yeah, no, it's just me. I'm sure you'll wake up. I'm sorry. If you need sleep, just recommend this to your friends who need sleep. Actually, I think we're pretty good for that. Django 1989, yeah. So Chilling Kanso, run for Tokyo governor. I believe me, I would run for Tokyo governor just to troll some people. Of course, I'm not eligible, and I'm cool with that. But if they decide to give me local voting rights, which I know will get a lot of people very upset, I will conga dance all the way to the voting office. And you know, it's part of me feels, and this is the thing as well. The thing about and it is mostly the far right. It's the left supports voting rights, frankly, because I mean, let's be clear. It's a bit like allowing, in Australia, they debated allowing Aborigines to vote in Australia for a long time, where Aborigines were not even registered as human beings until the 70s in some parts of Australia. The Labour Party enfranchised Aborigines very late after the civil rights movement in America. You know, I mean, Australia's got a pretty terrible race relations history, by the way. But they were enfranchised, as in America. They were always enfranchised minorities when they thought it was to their electoral advantage to do so. So yes, there's the whole Korea's going to take over Japan, or you know, take over islands or whatever where they have a majority of residents, but the paranoia about that. But fundamentally what it comes down to is that there's an understanding that probably a lot of Korean and Chinese residents would support far left parties in Japan and not far right parties. So there's also a political danger that they see from that. So typically it's far right people oppose voting rights for foreigners, and far left parties tend to support them. And Komeito, which is centre right, they support it as well, but they're supporting it partly because they're the flagship for a religion which is trying to also have a good international image. So, but I don't know. See, people are presuming that all these foreigners, if they're allowed to vote, are going to vote left. They're going to vote. They're going to read the Asahi and you know, become card-carrying communists and vote in the JCP. And you know, I know people who can vote in Japan who are of both Chinese, who are of Caucasian ethnic background, who vote well. I don't know. I mean, some of them I've heard of people voting conservatively, not the way that you would stereotype or expect. But this is the thing, you know. It's a dumb debate, but honestly, if I get it, yeah, I would love to vote, but I don't demand it as a right. I'd be quite happy if it happens, and I would troll heavily. I would videotape. I would very much enjoy being able to vote if it was given to me. I'd take joy in people being offended by that, but there again, that's up to Japanese people to decide. But if they let me run for governor and they vote for me, I'd just be the humble representative of the people of Tokyo, and I would do that. Gino Z, what part of New Zealand am I from? That's interesting. My dad was in the army. I moved house every year. So I was born in the Papakura army camp when it was an army camp. It's been given back to the local Maori tribe now because the land that camp was almost stolen. Oops. I grew up all over the place. I lived in Wairau for a number of years. Again, army camp, Papakura. I was born in an army camp. I lived a lot in Australia and Singapore, where New Zealand had army camps or sent people to. I went to high school and university in Auckland, and I'm more an Auckland person, but my dad's family are all in Christchurch. So now if I go back to New Zealand, I go to Christchurch. But I'm kind of all over. I lived in Wellington, Auckland, Wairau, Papakura. and family are in Christchurch. So I'm all over the place. But all my friends in my school are all in Auckland. That's me, New Zealand-wise. Hola, Adil ¿Qué tal? ¿Estás bien, Luis? Yo soy bien, estoy bien. ¿Cómo va? ¿Todo bien? That's good to see. Canada Jin, you're talking to your mum on Skype about cooking. That's much more important. In fact, that's what you should do your next video about, because those are important life skills right there. White Magic 4, konnichiwa. Good on you. Gerard, not familiar with Japanese politics. How does it compare to US? Better hope, because both parties here seem about the same. I was just talking about this the other day. I know that America considers itself the model for, well, maybe less and less now, but they've always considered themselves the model democracy. A lot of Americans genuinely seem to think that they invented democracy. Congratulations on that. Yes. Two-party systems, especially the one in America, where both sides are both bought off by the same lobbyists, exactly as you say, and there's no real choice or difference. It's like supporting different sports teams at this point. It's the blue team and the red team. In that respect, a lot of people come over here and rip pretty harshly on Japanese politics, and there's a lot to rip on, no question. There's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of shenanigans, the prime ministers change like toilet paper here, but when you talk about ideological choice and diversity, you've got everything from, far-right nationalists to economic parties to religious parties to center-right to socialists to communists, and the communists are like the second highest, like in the Tokyo election, the second highest polling candidate is communist, and communists win like Okinawa, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, Kyoto, Osaka all the time. So, and in a way, what's cool about that is that just demonstrates that there's no taboo against any sort of political ideology, and it actually gets implemented in Japan. So I think Japanese politics is super interesting because of that, and there's kind of a place for anyone. I think a lot of people in the US system, I would dare to suggest, probably don't feel like there's a place that fits. Neither party kind of fits what they think. They just have to pick the lesser of two evils all the time. And yes, Japanese politics, the polls that they take with NHK always show 50% or more of people are none of the above. There are like 12 parties to choose from, and they don't want to vote for any of them. So there's a lot of disenchantment here too. But there is more choice, and the choices are ideologically real, even if they're not politically real, perhaps. And not all of them are ideological, by the way. Of course, you've got the LDP, which is within itself. There are far left and far right factions and whatnot. Right now, the party is very dominated by right-wing factions. But previous LDP governments had guys like what was his name, Shigeru Nonaka, anyway, who's a very, very far left, very pro-North Korea, far left guy, was the Secretary General of the far right party. It's unthinkable. It's like a pro-Cuba guy as chairman of the Republican Party. That's how it really was in Japan for a long time. So it's fascinating. That's why I love it. It's like it's like Lost. There's constant new characters and hidden storylines, and there's more mysteries that come up than answers, and that's what makes it interesting to me. As you can tell, I'm a little bit of a geek. I'm a bit of a geek that's hot for Japanese politics. So hold me back. So WA40, first time we've watched it live. Where are the other Oyajis? Oh, there's 2.5 of us. Well, the two of us combined make 2.5. That's the idea. We're like the three amigos. Only there's two of us, but we're awesome. And we couldn't think of an original title, so we ripped off another one. That's our title. We always try to get a guest. We don't have a guest this week. We will get a guest. We have some guests lined up, and my goal is to get guests from non-YouTube guests, although we also have some awesome YouTube guests, as we had last week with Kurt. But I'm going to aim this year to try to get some more, non-digital people, which will make it awesome. Azad 3, love the FB stuff. I like the conversations you can have on FB, Facebook. So yeah, use that Facebook. I post lots of stuff, engage and discuss, because that's kind of fun where we can talk about stuff offline. Very happy to be your Facebook linked friend. And no, Victor had to go early, as people are pointing out. Indeed, Sean Galbraith points out that with a Scottish accent, you had to talk at quarter speed, which you'd probably have to do for me as well. Although we borrow parts of your words for the New Zealand accent, yes, we don't exactly talk. Well, we talk a little bit similar. But yeah, so Canada Gene 3 saying you can hear the Canadian accent. No, but my accent's gone kind of, yeah. It's fine. Well, some people recognize New Zealand or South Africa, but New Zealand has totally disowned my accent now. And yeah, well, you know, and with the gay marriage thing, you say that the US is backward, but the US is so big, and it's like 50 different countries, and some parts of the US are progressive and some aren't. But the problem is that the society and the media are just so dominated basically by trolls. I mean, the politics, the fact that when you have a political discussion, rather than have two mainstream, reasonable people, they'll invite the Tea Party guy and the crazy, you know, talkback loon, and you know, they're literally just there to troll each other and to have an exciting debate, which, you know, I don't know, there's been a real decline in the quality of policy debate, I think, and gay marriage is one of the flagship topics of that, where it's so easy to find hyperactive people who really actually should be excluded from the debate. You should be excluding religious fundamentalists, and frankly, I mean, just again, and some activists, I think, are too over the top. You want to find middle of the road, reasonable people who can reach a compromise through a discussion. You don't want to have extremists to set up like a midget fight, honestly, because that's all that it looks like half the time to me nowadays. Comments updating like crazy. I'm going to get to the end, and then I am going to, try to wrap up this video. But it's good that you guys are commenting, and I'm going to get through all of these. Damn it! So here we go. Now I've got to go back to where the comment was before. Scottish accent, yes. Japanese politics, Australian politics. Sean Goss, yeah. Australian politics are just. I've talked about it. My mum's Australian. I grew up in Australia. My sister's Australian. I'm technically half Australian by that measure, but Australian politics is just like, it's too rough for me. Actually, I'd rather watch midget fighting, which is, I think, less violent than Australian politics. So coming down, yeah. See, people, and this is it. People from New Zealand don't even recognise I'm from New Zealand. But yeah, what do you? I mean, at the same time, I'm not. New Zealanders don't exactly advertise that we're from New Zealand either. Part of the thing about leaving New Zealand is that we try to not get noticed by everyone in New Zealand anymore because we all know each other. There's no privacy. But that's cool. Yeah, no worries. As the exactly, A is like near in Japanese. Canadians and New Zealanders use it the same. Aussies and Americans don't. I think the thing about A is that it's seeking, like near in Japanese, it's seeking an affirmation from the other side. So if you're like talking but you're like not quite confident enough to like assert it, and you're trying to make sure the other person agrees with you, you say that. And Canadians and New Zealanders are a little bit more like that. We're a little bit like, yeah, it's right, ain't it? You know, it's pretty hot today. You know, it's like you're checking with them. Whereas Aussies and Americans tend to be a little bit more projecting. Hey, it's hot today. Damn. You know, that's the cultural thing. So it shows the humility, which I kind of like about Canadians. Yes, indeed, Barringer. Love to get our Chilean Kansai on, and we should get him on, and I'll get in touch about that. I think that's a good idea. So Artboy598, good to have you join. Indeed, toilet robot taxes. Japanicus likes turtles. Who doesn't like turtles? I can think of certain turtle heads that I don't like, but turtles are good. Salisbury, Craig Salisbury. Nice chatting the other day. I'm sorry I misjudged your age, but yes, there are going to be more jobs for Gojins going, even in IT and hard disks. But I don't know. You got to find the best way to come over here in your situation is to get into a company where you can transfer. So a global IT company is your best way, and there are ways to do it. You know, I mean, IT is pretty big in Japan. Question from Brian Uchida: would it be smarter to book a plane, flight, and hotel together when booking to go to Tokyo, or separately? I don't know. If you're coming here as a tourist, I don't know. I mean, you can get some good deals with packages, but there again, I don't come here as a tourist that often. You can find accommodation anywhere, but do you want to take a chance? I think it depends on how you're coming here. If you're a bit of an adventurer and a backpacker, it's always good to find a backpackers and you know, reserve places if you can be a little bit prepared. But you know, I think you can do it either way. I don't know which is better. Maybe some people can help out Brian Uchida with that question. Actually, it's a good question. Emily Louise Maitland, yeah, sorry, and I'm not meaning to rip on Australia either. When I criticise its track record with Aborigines, but I don't think anyone even in Australia thinks that they have a very good track record with Aborigines. And as a New Zealander, that's kind of where one of the points that we like to say, well, at least we didn't do that. Australia's coming around though, to their credit on that. Although, as again Sean Goss mentions, the Liberal Party. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, everyone votes for them because they're voting for them is voting for a good economy. It seems to be the line, and that's actually very much how it is in Japan. People don't vote for the nationalism per se. I know the boat people thing is getting a lot of attention in Australia, and sure, the nationalism is an element of the support with Abe, but in the end of the day, it's more the economy stupid. And that's just it. Japan isn't swinging to the right. It just happens that the people on the right seem to be a little bit better with the economy at the moment. It's the same in New Zealand, same in Australia, same in Japan. And it doesn't signal anything more dramatic than that, although a lot of people read a lot more into it with all those cases, with all of those cases. And it's funny, even the people who vote for the Liberals in Australia don't like Tony Abbott, most people. But they vote for him, And so I think same with Abe. I don't think you'll find many people who vote for Abe who say they really like him. There's a few, but, at the end of the day, they just acknowledge that the Democrats, the equivalent of Labour, was such a train wreck that they would even take Abe after that, which is just a sign of how badly they did. Indeed, Canada in Christchurch, well, it is kind of the name of a church. It's a massive church in the middle of the town. It's a planned town around a big church. So you're not wrong about Christchurch being a big church. She wondering who voted for Abbott. My mum voted for Abbott. She doesn't like him. But she's a small business person, and that's what she was saying. You're just going to pick sides. And again, it's kind of stark, and it's like America. It's like you're supporting football teams at some point, which is kind of sad, but there we go. I won't get used to, I'm going to stop talking about Abbott because I can see I'm making you guys aggro. And my mum is cool, by the way, so don't go there. Australia. I love Australia. Yeah, I am actually a fan. White Magic 4, the US is a representative oligarchy, and where isn't? And everyone likes to rip on Japan isn't a real democracy, but show me where it really is. Sweden does okay. I like Ace of Base. Fish is Norway. I shouldn't mix those guys up. Aha and Ace of Base, totally different. Getting near the end. Can we get Danny Chu? Danny Chu is on my list. He's been on my list for a while, and thank you for reminding me. Would love to get Danny Chu on, and I've talked with him a few times, so I think I could do that. So you'll be a good call on that one. And that's right, in Australia they fine you if you don't vote, and that's why some people are happy to pay the fine, which is fair enough. Genozi, well, I would love to do a video actually talking with some Kiwi friends, because Kiwis talk with a certain rhythm and speed and overlapping this that makes it basically impossible for anyone else to understand what we're talking about when we get warmed up, which I haven't had a conversation like that in a long time, actually. Like I don't have many Kiwi friends in Japan, so I have great catch-ups with them every now and then, every few months, but yeah, I'd love to have a Kiwi conversation with you, Genozi. That'd be kind of cool, but maybe there's a plan. Maybe we could do that. I don't know. Do you make videos? I should check out your channel. So I'm going to wrap up, and thank you for joining. It's gone very late, but it's been fun. And I will talk to you all again next week. Victor's channel next week, Tokyo Tonight on Sunday. And good night to all of you. Thanks for joining. And stay everyone. Peace. I'm going to rock out. I'll hang around, finish up some comments, and I will see you all next week. Okay, Victor's channel, and we'll have an awesome guest. And later this month, we are going to try to get Jake Adelstein on, who I've been in touch with, and I think we can get him. And I'm going to finish his book, and I'm going to do a book report on that soon. So there's lots of good stuff to look forward to. Have a good week, and talk to you later. Peace.